Hi guys, it's Kalil from TierZero here, and today I want to showcase quite an interesting take on the Fire King variation that's just recently hit the TCG. I decided to go with a Tri-Brigade Fire King Horus Sinful Spoil package dot deck, and I wanted to just go through the reason I play the deck, the options, maybe go a little bit into the synergy between like the Horus engine and the Tri-Brigade stuff and the Fire King stuff, for example, because I can understand someone seeing it and just being like, that makes no sense, you're just playing it to play it. So I just wanted to showcase a different take on this deck and the idea of it, and then hopefully get a few other people to try it out and see what they have as well. And another thing to mention before we do start this video is that if you do like this type of content and you want to see more deck profiles, maybe even combo videos in the future, just give us a comment down below and just tell us what you want to see in the future, because we are looking to expand our content in the YuGiOh tubeverse and try and get ourselves out there a bit more. So please tell us what you like and what you like to see, and we'll get back to you on that in the comments. Well, but without further ado, let's go on with this deck profile. So to start off, we'll just start with the main deck. It is 41 cards at the moment, and this is just like a tester, so I will go over things that I feel that, maybe I could have changed. So we'll start with the Fire King package. We've got 3 Kirin, 2 Phoenix, 1 Garunix, 1 Barong, 1 Avatar, 1 of the Skyburn, I can't remember what this was called in OCG, but it got changed, 2 Sanctuary, and then 2 of the Fire King Islands. So one thing I want to note before we even start going over this is I feel like I should have played 2 Garunix and not 1. I was just trying to cut down on the engine as much as possible and see what I couldn't get away with, and we found out on the day that this is not the one. You need to play 2. Sorry, this is the one, but you need to play more of it. So we definitely will just bump that up in the future. But other than that, all the ratios seem to play completely fine. Didn't miss a fair one of this, for example. This went in hard because you can dodge things like Effect Feather and Impermanence, which is pretty cool. And it's like your main go-to card after turn 1 as well. Like once you've gone through the fire engine stuff, you want to keep using Kirin for the pop effect as well to pop in your deck. So that's quite cool. And then yeah, I didn't miss having the ratios of these either. It all felt really nice ratio wise, and I don't think I changed much of it, minus the Garunix bumming up to a second one, just so there's like more for the grind. Or if they're DD Crow, just get rid of it, because sometimes it can just come up. In the games I played, I instantly missed it after the first match. So yeah. For the Tri-Brigade stuff, I played a bit of a weird engine in it, and I'll explain in a moment. But we played 2 Fractal, 2 Kit, 2 Nerval, 1 Keras, 1 Revolt, just to finish it all off. Personally, I think I should have played a third kit. I'm not playing Tenki because you're trying to fit in 40 cards in this and you're kind of mixing everything together. So Tenki wasn't really required, and I didn't miss it, to be real with you. I think I'd actually bump this down to 1 and bump this up to 3, just because our idea with this deck is more to do the fight, like the more the popping the kit from your deck, or popping it with like Island. So I don't really see the point of playing more than one of this. I don't actually really want to push, like, to fill my deck, my graveyard with Tri-Brigade stuff when I already have things going for me anyway, and there's other ways to get to Beast and Beast Warriors. So I don't actually think Tenki is insane when you're not that Fractal isn't insane when you're not playing Tenki. And even if you are playing it, I don't know, that's the ratio I changed. I felt like I want to play less Tri-Brigades more than I want to play more, if that makes sense, because of the way this version plays. But for the Sinful Spoil package, it's very simple. Witch, Snake Eyes, and then the 3 Wanteds. Obviously, went in quite hard. Is essentially a 1 card starter into combo, so we do what we do. And then for the horror stuff, we played 3 Imsei, 1 Happy. We played 1 of the Dharmateth, I think. Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm butchering that, by the way. And then 1 King Sark. So we played 5 and 1. So let's go into this a little bit. Normally people just play this, and that makes sense as well if you're playing the minimum package, just trying to get into a rank 8 engine. But we had a few ideas in mind with playing this, and the idea is this. Number 1, these both are beasts, so you can actually banish both of these for the Tri-Brigade stuff if you get into it. So you actually want to be dumping your graveyard to do that. But the second reason is because of the extra deck card we played in Coach Game. So our idea is turn 1 is to open up Imseti, open up another card to discard, neg your hand a bit, go into this, and then draw 3. And then you can, and then if you get into an island or anything like that, you can pop this with Island to search for Garunix and then just go full combo anyway, because it's a fire. So for that reason, I felt like that was quite relevant. And this beast option comes up too. because, like I said, once you go into that combo and you get all that going, you can actually go into a Shurag really easily by banishing these two and then bringing them back with the Revolt on the following turn, so you can still use the King Sark on the follow-up, because you don't have to control this to special summon him, you can just special summon him anyway. So, yeah. It actually went in quite hard. I don't know if I'd play this in the future though, only because it felt really neg sometimes. It felt like I essentially had to risk it all to draw that 3, and I don't like that. I didn't like it. There was one time when I literally tried to draw 3 heat imp, and I'm like, okay, well, I have no play now, I just probably lose. And then I did. For hand drops though, we played 3 Nibiru, 3 Ash, and then 3 Impermanence, and that was pretty much it. I wanted to play 9 if I was playing like a bumped up ratio, because like when I was trying to put in defensive cards, it felt like 6 wasn't enough, but it felt like I couldn't fit in 12, so 9 seemed like the middle ground there. But yeah, again, this is all just like in theory and just trying things out. So if you guys think that there's anything you would have changed or tried out, please let me know. Like, I'm sure there's something I'm missing here. But then for the link side of things, the Tri-Brigade package is simply 2 Shurag, 1 Rugal, 1 Bear, 1 Ferrogy, and then the honorary DDL, double Dragon Lords. And I don't think I changed this, to be honest. I thought I'd want a second Ferrogy, and a lot of the time I just want to have a second one just in case something goes wrong. But the reality is in most situations you don't need a second one, so it's absolutely fine. And after turn 1, you're going to have a lot of ways to special summon your things back and keep going anyway, so it's not that deep. I don't think I changed this engine at all. And then for the miscellaneous links, we played the 1 Almirage, 1 IP, 1 SP, 1 Pit Knight, 1 Appaloosa, and then 1 Access Code as well. I don't think I'll play Pit Knight in the future. This was just kind of over other ideas that I could have played. Another example is I could have played potentially a second SP Knight, but I'm going to be real with you, I don't own a second one, so I'm not going to play a second one if I don't own it. Another option you could have played, you could have done is try to do the Heat Soul package stuff. But when I was testing the Tri-Brigade stuff specifically, it felt like I was forcing myself into that line, and there's very few lines I could do both the Heat Soul stuff and the Tri-Brigade stuff, so I had to pick one, and I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that I had to pick one. I want to be able to do both of them or none of them. Like, there should be a combo to go hard, but it was so inconsistent that I didn't really feel like it was worth it. Perhaps I'm missing something, but I just didn't want to do the Heat Soul stuff, so I thought the Pit Knight into IP was good, because there are some hands where you can actually go into this exact board, or like even going to like, you know, like something like SP, Pit Knight, something like that. But yeah, going into both of these is still pretty powerful even in this format, and going into an SP in your opponent's turn is pretty broken, so we'll take it. And then for the rank gates, we played, of course, the Garunix Eternity. We played the Coach, as mentioned before, and then we also played the Zombie Vampire. Again, because this is so experimental and there's just kind of theory at the moment, and this kind of just came to me at some point, I wasn't sure which one was better between these two. Another reason was as well is that sometimes you'll open a hand with Gold Sark and like Island, for example, and you actually don't want to go this because you've opened so well, if that makes sense. You'd rather go for the Zombie Vampire, and then if it gets stopped by something, at least you have you either have an extended to go into like IP, or you have like a way to keep playing through it, because if you neg into this and then it just gets stopped, you actually just have nothing to keep going. And you at least want to have some kind of play to go, like for example an SP Little Knight, at least passing on that. Or just like knowing you have the SP with defensive cards in your hand. You kind of take it with what your hand is, and sometimes there are cards you don't want to get rid of, and that's another reason why you don't want to go into Coach. So it might not just be just because it might not be just because you want to get more greedy, but simply just because you've got to like assess the hand. And at this very moment in time, I'm not that well versed in this deck to where I fully know which one I want to go into most of the time. I was testing both, and it seemed like both of them are quite relevant. And this is really good if you get a starter going, like getting Chick or getting some high rolling is like Witch, for example. But like another, like for example, you can get a lot of the beasts and just play the game, and that's pretty fun. And knowing what your opponent's playing turn 1's pretty powerful. So I rate it. And then for the side deck, again, all experimental and just trying things out, so not too sure what exactly the right side deck was. A lot of it's generic, so just going to preface that before we get into it. We play 3 draw, very generic. If you're not maining it, you should be siding it. We play 3 Bastials, very generic as well, not really much to say. For Argo first card, I just picked Judgment. Could have picked a few other things. For example, I was debating Anti-Spell, just because of how my local tournament is, but I just settled on Judgment because I wasn't too sure, and yeah, when it went in, to be fair, can't really complain. It always does, we played 2 Lightning Storm and a Harpies just to complete the back row package. I think it's better, to complete the back row destruction. dot cards, but I think this is better than evenly matched at the moment, even against the back row decks. But yeah, that's how I've been finding it. I've just kind of been adapting as I go. And then the last side card, which is very, very experimental, is this one, which is the 3-sphere mode. The reason why I decided to play this was because I was testing the deck again, and I had just ideas that you don't have to use your normal summon a lot of the time to break through boards and win. So the theory was that I sphere mode into like something like with Island or with like the Horus engine, and that's the idea. But I didn't actually end up signing it in, and I have no idea how it plays. And to be honest with you, I probably don't in the future. I was like thinking about it more in my head, and I was just like, nah, maybe this is just not the move. I just wanted to really try it out and see if I can make sphere mode work. But yeah, that was the world deck profile. If you like this, like I always say, comment, rates, comment, like the video, and let me know what you want to see in the future. Because again, we are looking to expand. But yeah, thank you and goodbye.